taking the online race broadcast performance to the next level. This is the Full Velocity Network.
Good evening, race fans, wherever you may be tonight. Happy Thursday to you. Welcome to the biggest, the fastest, the baddest super speedway of them all. It's the Talladega SuperSpeedway, and we're here on the Full Velocity Network to bring you the Extreme Super Speedway Series Segment 3 finale. Tonight, it's all about crowning a championship for one special driver in our field here tonight, and we're about to see these guys go 57 laps around this 2.6-mile raceway. I'm David Schildhouse, joined in the booth for the first time on the Full Velocity Network tonight. We have a very special first-time guest. It's Brandon Lawson, the new champ, freshly off his championship night last night in the SRA 711 Super Truck Series. Brandon, welcome to the Full Velocity booth, this time as a broadcaster.
Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to this opportunity. It's going to be awesome to be calling this race with you guys. First race to call with you guys. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see how it goes.
Well, we are sure to see 57 laps of action here tonight. As you see, conditions are perfect for racing. 70 degrees, nice and clear, not a worry out there. And we got 57 laps here to go. And they're going to click off pretty quick. Got high speeds. Should have a nice big pack running around here, Brandon. And again, the focus is on the championship. So somebody's going to come away feeling real good about their night, and somebody's going to come away feeling like they might have left one out on the table. What are we looking at as far as a championship picture? Who's in it? Who are the players? And how close is this thing?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. We've got Matt Watkins, who comes in here as the championship leader currently, and 8 points behind him is Doug Lockrow. He still has an opportunity at this. He's very close in points behind Watkins. It just takes 8 spots, folks. I mean, 8 spots, and Doug Lockrow will be taking the points lead in this race. I mean, anything can happen. It's Talladega SuperSpeedway, so it's going to be interesting. Everybody behind Doug Lockrow, so third on back, have been officially eliminated as we only have 17 entries for the race. And Toby Roberson is actually 26 points back, and he's not going to be able to make up that gap. So our points will just be between Matt Watkins and Doug Lockrow. Doug Lockrow being 8 points back. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens as this race progresses between those two.
Well, there you go. It's pretty simple then. 2 guys, 1 championship, and we know who to keep our eye on tonight. And I think this is a super speedway series, so every race is, you have the possibility of the big one. And that's definitely not something you or I are strangers to. But when you come into a championship race and you know what's on the line, if you're, if you're one of the championship contenders, if you're Matt Watkins, if you're approaching it from his shoes, Brandon, how are you looking at the next 57 laps? Are you trying to put yourself out front so if there's a wreck, it's behind you? Are you riding in the back playing it safe? What's really, in your opinion, the right strategy to play here tonight?
I really think if you're Matt Watkins coming here as a championship leader, you got to ride around the back and just be safe. You want to stay out of trouble. You got that 8-point gap over your competitor Lockrow. You just want to maintain that gap. You don't have to beat Doug by over 7 positions. You only got to beat him by 8. So I think if you're Watkins, you want to be safe. Make sure you maintain that gap between them. And just kind of keep an eye on him. I'm sure his crew chief's going to be letting him know where Doug Lockrow is all day long. So I really think Watkins just has to stay in the back, be safe, and maintain that gap over Doug. And I think he should be all right.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you if I was Matt Watkins. I'm playing it super safe, at least for the first half of this race. And then you get into the second half, and you can mix it up from there and see where the cards fall. If it's meant to be, luck's going to be on your side. And if it's not, well, there's really not much you can do about it. But, again, plate track, the draft comes into play. You need a good drafting partner. Now, that's the other thing. I'm sure these guys have been spending this entire week trying to find the guy that's going to work with them the most tonight to give themselves a great chance to be in the right position at the end of this thing. You got to have a dancing partner out there. You come to pit road, you can't do it by yourself, otherwise you're going to lose a whole bunch of time. So it's going to be really interesting to see who works with who, where the deals are being made, and who ultimately is going to put themselves in the right position. So, Brandon, I'm really excited to see how these guys get around here tonight. The drama and implications, as we like to say, sure to be some out there.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to be very exciting. We got 2 guys fighting for a championship. So, let's go ahead and throw it to the national anthem, guys, and do some pre-race ceremonies, and then we'll kick this thing off.
All right, beautiful, beautiful tribute to our country. Now it's time to get down to the main action here. We are going to run through this qualifying lineup. These guys have already taken time, put in their 2 laps, and we have set the field for the show tonight. Kicking this thing off from the pole, a member of the Full Velocity Network. You've heard his voice on here before. That's the 166. That's Blake McCandless, and to his outside, one of the championship contenders, driving the 18, that's Doug Lockrow. Starting inside row number 2, it's going to be the 98. That's Jessica Shelton. And starting to her outside is going to be the 47, Scott Geiswhite.
Starting 5th in the 3rd row is going to be the 354, Davey Hazard. And starting on his outside will be Phil Case, one of our members in the number 4 truck. And then row number 4, we have Toby Roberson, who's going to be in the 64 truck. And to his outside will be Tom Richter in the 34 truck.
Starting 9th tonight, driving truck number 9, Frank Divins. And to his outside is going to be the 21. That's Steve Looney. Last driver taking time tonight. Starting the 11th spot is going to be Phil Parker in the number 2. To his outside will be the number 63. That's Michael Marotta. Other starters in this race will be the 024. That's Randall Coleman. We also have the 01. That's Charles Kaut. We also have the other championship contender starting deep in the field, second to last here tonight, Brandon. That's Matt Watkins in the 15. Looks like he took your strategy and is going to stick to that. Rounding out the field, starting shotgun, that's the 881 of Lyndon Wright. So there's your starting field. Blake McCandless up front, he's definitely going to be a guy that's going to show this field around here. He's got nothing to lose, Brandon. So I would count on seeing the 66 up front leading the way. Not saying he's going to be reckless or anything, but when you come into a race with nothing to lose, why not?
Yeah, why not run up front and see what you can do, bring some action to the race when you got nothing to lose. But I'm really interested in Matt Watkins, not qualifying there, He obviously is going to take the safe way out of this race and try to run around the back and stay out of trouble, but you never know, he may work his way up to the front. So I'm really interested with that pick of him not choosing to take a time there, because his opponent is in second right now to start this race. So you know what that means. Doug starts this race pretty much the point leader.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of playing the strategy. So obviously we have the two championship contenders on different strategies. Doug Lockrow says, you know what, to heck with it, throwing caution to the wind, I'm going for it. I'm going to start up front and see what happens. If we get in a wreck, we get in a wreck, but at least I was up front giving it my all, and whatever happens. And obviously on the opposite end of that spectrum, Matt Watkins playing it safe, and he'll start in the back and see how these things shake out. But, I think if we get settled after a few laps here, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that 15 start to work his way through the field.
I agree. I think eventually he's obviously worked his way into the point lead now, so he's definitely going to be up front, and he's going to be a factor for this race's ending.
Well, Matt Watkins is a great driver, and you and I have raced against him elsewhere and see him do some amazing things. Doug Lockrow is no stranger to the spotlight, a champion in his own right as well. So these are two guys who know what they're doing. They can get around a super speedway track just as good as anybody here. So I think that's what everyone wants to see. If you're a fan of racing, you want to see the best going for a championship, and I think that's exactly what we have here tonight as the trucks work their way up onto the banking, the 33 degrees of banking here at the Talladega SuperSpeedway, and get our one pace lap underway here. And we'll be dropping that green flag. Before we get going, let's get this out of the way early, and let's make some pre-race predictions. Brandon, since it's your first broadcast, I'll let you make the first pick on who you think's coming out of here with the win tonight.
Well, I'm going to go with that number 166 who is running that Dodge Ram. I think Blake McCandless is going to pull this thing off. Like you said before we started this, before we rolled the cars off, he's got nothing to lose. He's going to be racing out front. He's going to be racing hard, and I think Blake McCandless will end up in victory lane before this race is over with.
All right. I think that's a good pick. I think that's smart. Looks good in that full velocity network truck, so we'll keep an eye on him. As far as I'm concerned, there's a paint scheme out here that really is near and dear to my heart, and I love the fact that it's being run. And that's the 98 of Jessica Shelton. She's running the Matt Kenseth throwback scheme. Matt Kenseth coming up on his last race of his career probably, and really nice to see a tribute paint scheme like that on that Dodge. It's great. It looks beautiful, and I hope that it brings her a great amount of luck, and I hope that she can put that thing in victory lane. So I'm going with Jessica Shelton, the sentimental pick in that Matt Kenseth paint scheme. And when we get a second a little bit later on in this race, we'll throw it down to the third member of our broadcast. That's Too Tall Todd Stanton working the controls tonight. We'll get to him in a little bit. He's got his hands full bringing us the sights and sounds of this race that we have about to begin as they work their way into the tri-oval. Brandon, coming down the green flag. The call is yours.
All right, Blake McCandless is leading them off. He's paced them towards the green flag. And we're off at Talladega. Let's see who wins this championship tonight, boys.
I like it. I love championship night. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is. It's always really exciting, and here we go. We got the trucks getting up to speed. It's going to take them about a lap to get up to full song with the way the aerodynamics work in these things. But you'll see them get into this pack, and they'll be pushing and shoving as already we see the 98 of Shelton jump out of line, working that high side down the super stretch, the back stretch here, going side by side with Blake McCandless in that 66. And I think this is, you're getting up to speed. You're sort of feeling things out. And guys are just going to be real patient right now. And, of course, as soon as I say that, we got guys beating each other down into the corner, Brandon.
I'm telling you one thing. That was very close with Scott Guswhite there. Looks like he almost hooked off the 18 there of almost hooked off the 18 of Doug Lockrow there. And that would have been disastrous if he would have gotten wrecked on lap one when he's fighting for a championship. But like you're saying, I really do think everybody's just trying to fill it out. They want to see what lane's going to work. Is the outside the best lane to be in? Is the bottom lane the best lane to be in? It's going to be very interesting to see how these lanes play out as this race goes on.
And speaking with some of the drivers before the race tonight, I was asking, what's the pit window that you can expect to see here as they go about 3 wide now with the 98 and the sucker hole in the middle. She's going to fall to the back now as they'll get that all sorted out before they get to turn 3. But we're looking at a pit window of about 12 to 14 laps, so not a long time, but before the trucks are going to have to come down to pit road and put more fuel into the vehicle. Not necessarily more tires, Brandon, but more fuel. So having 12 to 14 lap stints in a 57-lap race, that creates some interesting strategy, and you really got to plan these pit stops out if you have a strategy and you're going to stick to it.
Yes, it does. Strategy is going to be very important tonight, and that's also another thing. Who have you been talking to during the week? Who's going to be pitting with you? Are you going to be pitting with your teammates? Are you going to be pitting with friends that you've never worked with before? It's going to be very important tonight as we move forward to who people pit with and who people decide to stick with throughout the race.
We've run a lot of these plate races before, and, everyone will sort of run 2-3 wide, and you run in the big pack and have a lot of fun running side by side with your buddies. but you start to watch that fuel gauge, and you know when that window is about to close, you'll see everybody get, try to fight to get down to the bottom, as we are 3 wide now, 3 rows deep as they work their way towards the tri-oval again. 3 wide for the lead now. Scott Geiswhite in the 47 pokes his nose out to the front. He's up top trying to figure out if he can get to the front there. It doesn't have a play, and he'll fall back in line, but you're going to see these guys fight to the bottom to get ready for these pit stops, and that's really when the action can get kind of crazy, because you got a whole bunch of drivers trying to get down to one lane.
Yeah, not everybody's going to be nice. We know who that is. Not everybody decides to let you in, so it's going to be very interesting as we get close to pit stops. That was a very interesting move by Doug Lockroad. You see him move up towards the top there and work his way up towards the lead, and that is very important. He has led a lap tonight. That's an extra point on his competitor, Matt Watkins. So that's very interesting as we head forward. As Watkins still he's cruising his way up to the front. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I'm looking at Watkins now. He's sort of latched onto the rear bumper of that 4. That's Phil Lacasse. Working that bottom lane. They got about 4 trucks down there in the bottom lane. Working about 5 trucks in the middle there, and now the 98 jumps back to the outside. So we are 3 wide, about 4 rows deep here almost as they work through 1 and 2. And it's real interesting to see them get this aggressive this early. You got that top lane working right up against the wall. Scott Geiswhite pushing. But you got to be careful. You don't want to be the guy that causes a problem for one of these championship contenders. So Geiswhite wisely leaves a little bit of space just in case there's a slip up. But we're 4 or 5 laps into this event now, and these guys are really going 100%.
They really are, and I'm really interested with these lanes. These lanes are very equal, it looks like, so far. I haven't really seen one lane prevail or dominate this race so far. So as this race goes on, you got to wonder if these guys are still going to be searching for the best lane, or are they all going to be equal throughout the race, and everybody's going to be just kind of running around in different lanes all race.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the draft. We see a big move by the 47. He throws it down to the middle lane. He's going to make a bid for the lead here. They are 3 wide for the lead, working off of turn 2. It's all about the draft. Who's got the most trucks? I think that's really the key here, as we see that there's 4 trucks on the inside lane, 4 trucks on the outside lane. That outside lane is moving. Look like they got 50 more horsepower as they work down into turn 3.
I tell you what, look at who's in the third car on the outside lane there. It's Matt Watkins. He's worked his way into the picture as he's pushing Frank Divins and Doug Lockroad ahead of him, but that 24 on the bottom is inching forward. That's Randall Coleman. He's trying to make his way up to the front as well.
Yeah, really interesting sort of approaches here as we see Watkins maybe trying to flirt with getting that top row going if those guys in front of him stay to the middle, which it looks like they're going to do. So now put Watkins trying to form up a high lane with Tony Roberson behind him pushing, but the middle lane seems to have the most trucks in it now, as that high lane will begin to fall back as they lose momentum.
Look at Scott Geiswhite pushed that thing in there. He tried to fit a hole right next to Frank Divins there, tried to force it through out on Frank and Coleman there. Just didn't get it in. Oh, there he goes. He's going to go down towards the bottom here and try to work his way up towards the leads. He's going to make the pass on Frank Divins, I believe. But that outside, I believe, is going to get the run coming off turn 4.
Yeah, that outside lane's got good momentum as they fight through the tri-oval now. Watkins stuck up on the outside. He's still got the 64 pushing him. They're trying to make that thing work, but I just don't know if they have enough energy right now as we complete 7 laps and begin the 8th. We're a little bit more than halfway through this fuel run. These guys got to start thinking about, hey, we got to start getting ready to make a pit stop here in the next handful of laps, depending on their fuel usage. So we may see these 2 and 3 wide battles start to chill out a little bit as they get sorted out to make pit stops. But of course, now the 47 moves up to the top lane to pick up. Oh, a huge bump. That's not even a bump draft. That's a slam draft as they go down the backstretch into 3.
It sure was. I got to tell you, Scott Geiswhite has definitely been the most aggressive so far in this race. He's been down the bottom, he's been up top. He is working all around the super speedway, and it's very interesting to see him driving like that this early. And Doug Lockroad staying up there. He's still in second. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't make another move to try to get back towards the lead. And that outside looks like it's starting to prevail here, as everybody looks like they're starting to work their way up to the top. Single foul about the first 7 or 8 cars there, or trucks.
Yeah, Mile High line is alive and well as we got about 7 or 8 trucks, as you said, there in a line, and then a little bit of side-by-side behind them. But when you get into that situation and you get all these trucks lined up on the high lane like that, it's really hard to make anything work. And I think maybe this is a move in response to getting ready to make pit stops. Everyone sort of said, all right, we've had a little bit of fun. We've raced it up a little bit. Now let's just get sorted, and see if we can make a nice clean entry onto pit road here in a few laps, and then we can get back to brawling over positions. And no sooner do I say that than, of course, one truck will jump out of line, go down to the bottom, and try and make a race out of this thing. Now, big move to the middle by Matt Watkins. Boy, I tell you, these championship contenders, they are not shying away from the action.
Yeah, we did see Blake McCandless try to make a move to the inside. Doesn't look like he got much help. It didn't look like Matt Watkins was going to go down there with him, but Matt Watkins saw that everybody was going to stay on the outside. He went back up towards the outside. You got to be careful of that when you fake people out like that. Matt Watkins looked like he was going to go down with McCandless. He didn't go down there. I wonder if McCandless is going to remember that. Hey, you know, is that a guy that I want to work with for the rest of this race?
You know, they say relationships are a tricky maneuver to pull off, and it's no different out here on the racetrack. You got a lot of competitors, and you're all trying to work together to use the draft together, but ultimately you have to make a choice sometimes if you want to work with a guy or if you want to see if your way is going to be better. And as a race car driver, you do take note of that. You do remember those things. Hey, that guy went with me earlier in the race. Let's work together. Hey, that guy didn't go with me. To heck with him. I'm going to hang him out to dry the next opportunity I get. But we got a battle on now. 2 lanes forming back up. Guy White can't block both of them. Here comes the 9 of Frank Divens to the inside as they work their way down the backstretch.
Yes, Frank Divens and Matt Watkins make a move towards the inside. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to get there. That outside just has more trucks at the moment. And as that outside prevails, they'll go all the way down towards the double yellow line. And look at Scott Guesswhite make an amazing move to get back down towards the bottom to block any run that those guys may have had at him. And he probably will work his way back up to the top. And there he goes. He's got to block the outside. You got to block where the runs are coming from. And he's going to get left out to dry. And here comes Frank Divens on the inside to take the lead.
Yeah, Guy White was a little bit tardy getting back to the outside lane to block that momentum. I'm not sure he even needed to make that move. The inside lane definitely clearly had more energy working there, but close quarters there on that inside and middle lane. The top lane's falling apart. Frank Divens leading him off of turn 2, and look, it was in second place. That's Matt Watkins, and if I know him, he's going to follow Frank around as they get ready to make some pit stops here in the next couple laps.
Yeah, we're getting very close to that pit window, and I'll tell you one thing, Matt Watkins is in second place right now. I wonder if he's going to make a move to maybe try to lead a lap here, because his competitor, his championship competitor that he's facing against this race. Oh, we're getting pit stops here, David.
There we go. Time to slow these things down, get down to 55 miles an hour at the cone. Punt cam is on. If we can catch somebody getting punted, we will. Seems like everyone, oh, we got one into the grass. It's the 4 of Lacasse. Lacasse in the grass. That's not the way you want to do it. But he pulls it back on pit road. That might be a black flag for him. Everyone else seems to get on pretty clean. The 15 of Watkins is into his box. Service underway. The 9 of Divens down in his box, and everybody else is finding their pit crews as well.
Yes, looks like Doug Lockrow, he's worked his way into his box. The 34's worked his way into his box. The 47. Looks like Doug Lockrow is going to take 4 tires here. Very interesting strategy. Looks like most trucks, from what I'm seeing, are taking 4 tires at the moment. Nope, never mind. 2 tires on the 64 and the 34 there.
You know, if you have to fill the vehicle up, if you have to take on a full fuel load, that may necessitate taking 4 tires, or even not maybe necessitate, but allow to take 4 tires, because it's the same amount of time. You got to sit there and wait. So if you can take a full load of fuel and change 4 tires without losing any time, why not? 4 fresh Goodyears is going to feel good out on the track. Maybe be the difference between making a move and not making a move, as these guys spill back out on the front backstretch after pit stops. Pretty clean cycle, but you can see there's definitely been a separation of some of these drivers as they try to get back up to speed.
Yes, there is. We've got 5 trucks up front in the lead pack, and they've actually separated themselves from another 5 or 6 cars. And another interesting thing, when you pit at a super speedway like this, you want to make sure that your pit crew is on cue, because if they're not, you can lose the draft. And I'm looking at it right now. The 18 of Doug Lockrow is barely hanging on to the draft there. Matt Watkins, he's not going to back off and help him out.
Heck no, you see your competitor struggle and you smile, you grin, you laugh a little bit to yourself in that helmet, because you know you just gave yourself a better chance to succeed. So we got a couple of distinct packs now. Let's reset the field here as they cycle through these green flag stops, as we have a change for the lead. That's the 34 of Tom Richter taking over the front. He'll drop kick Toby Roberson back to the back of that 5-truck train. So put Tom Richter out front. That's going to be Blake McCandless in second. Frank Divens now in third. Davey Hazard, he'll be running fourth. And Toby Roberson will be back to fifth. Sixth place is going to be the 47, Mr. Aggressive, Scott Guesswhite. He's being pushed by Randall Coleman
Oh,
in
we got
7th.
trouble. We got
And
trouble.
we got trouble. Oh, we got big trouble.
Oh,
Oh my
no.
goodness. 2 trucks around. That's McCandless around. That's Tom Richter. That was for the lead, Brandon.
Yes, it was. I believe Blake McCandless was getting ready to make a move on the 4, and I just don't think it worked out there. That was interesting.
Well, you know, that I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to go green the entire time. And they proved that I didn't have to worry about that after all. As we had contact up front for the lead, and now everything we were just talking about, the separation and playoff drivers maybe falling out of the draft, the whole story changes now. And so we'll slow them down here under the first yellow flag of the evening. Comes out at lap 15. And we'll throw it over to the third member of our broadcast team here tonight, Too Tall, Todd Stanton. Good evening to you, sir. What did you see on the full velocity replay?
Okay. As I was on Trail Commander on the wrong thing and the wrong thing going here, but David's been pretty good at guessing. I was ready. I was queued up and ready to do this replay here. So we're gonna go ahead and see what happened here in slow motion here first. And I wasn't sure what happened myself. We're looking at the number 66 of Blake McCandless and Tom Richter, and that number 34 Avis sponsor Chevrolet is the number 66 of Blake McCandless. Looks like he goes down to the bottom side. Oh, Richter bounces off the outside wall, and those guys send spin cycling down to the bottom. And look at Richter. Oh, really flying through the air there, coming back across the track. No safer barriers down there. That was a hard hit for the number 34 machine. And unfortunately, Blake McCandless took some pretty good destruction to the front end of his nose. So tough break for those two drivers here early on in this event.
Well, there you have it, Brandon, and thank you, Todd, for the insight on that. A good replay, a good look at what happened. Guys just try and make a move, and sometimes you go for the same little piece of real estate out here. It might be a 2.6-mile racetrack, but it can come down to 1 square inch where 2 guys want to be, and in this instance, it did not work out for them.
You're all fighting for a centimeter at Talladega. Always fighting for a centimeter. There's no... I mean, it was maybe given room at the beginning of the race, but as these drivers zone in even longer into this race, they're not gonna be given much of an inch, as you were saying. You know, just because of how big this track is, there's definitely not a lot of room for error, especially with them all packed up like this. So it's very interesting to see Blake McCandless and Tom Richter, you know, hit the wall that early. You know, because aerodynamics, as we've talked about multiple times, is very important at track. Any damage can cause a lot of drag on your truck.
Yeah, definitely not the racetrack you want to be worried about having damage and running slower than your competition. You got to have a pristine body if you're going to have a chance to really win. The draft will help you a little bit if you have damage, but you're not going to run as fast as a guy that hasn't been hitting the wall or his competition. So it's going to be tough for those guys to make a rally here. But we'll do a reset now of this field. After that little mix-up, they did come down to pit road and took on service again. You know, fuel being at a premium here tonight, Brandon, you're going to take every opportunity that you can to put fuel in that truck, as looks like they're going to come down one more time, probably thinking, hey, we're coming to the 1 to go. Let's top these trucks off to make the longest run that we can.
Oh, interesting move. Matt Watkins decides to stay out. He's going to take the lead and get that lap lead. One thing I want to point out, Scott Guesswhite in the 47 and Randall Coleman 024 and the 98 of Jessica Shelton, they actually stayed out on that first lap of yellow. So cool, interesting strategy there. See how much fuel they got to put in the trucks. They may actually come out ahead of some of these guys. But very interesting strategy by Matt Watkins to stay out there and get a lap lead, because you know how important that is, David. That's a point.
Well, I think, you know, if you're Matt Watkins, you got to look and say, hey, in that first run, you know, Lockrow led laps. You got an advantage points-wise on me. I got to go and match that. I got to negate whatever advantage he went out and got during that green flag run, because Watkins didn't lead a lap in that first run. So I understand the strategy, and I like it. I think you got to move and then counter move. It's almost like playing chess or even checkers, really, for the less educated like myself. I'm not very good at either of them, to be honest, but you got to match your opponent move for move when you're in a one-on-one dogfight for a championship, and bonus points are given for leading laps. So right now, they're back to even when it comes to the point given for leading a lap. Now there's bonus points out there, I believe, for leading the most laps. So that's another thing to keep an eye on. If Doug Lockrow, who's spent some time at the front, I don't think he's quite led the most laps yet, Brandon, but if he wants to, that's another opportunity to make up points on Matt Watkins.
Yes, it is. I mean, leading the most laps is another advantage that you got to get. But as I was saying at the beginning of the race, no matter how many laps Doug Lockrow leads, he's still got to finish ahead of Matt Watkins by a pretty good amount. So I'm really kind of intrigued to see how this race finishes out. You know, we've still got plenty of time left, just a little over 40 laps to go here. So still a lot of time, a lot of moves to be made, and we'll have to see how this championship picture plays out as we should get the 1 to green here, so we'll get ready to restart it here in about a lap or so. So it's going to be interesting to see how the championship plays out as we move forward.
Yeah, and you see now the 15 of Watkins come down to pit road. So he passed up the opportunity to pit on the last lap. He must have known that the 1 to go signal was not going to come out, or at least he was betting on it, so that he could lead that lap. He got his lap led, negated the advantage gained for Lockrow by leading a lap earlier, and now he can come in. He takes a splash of fuel, and he's going to be back out in front of these guys again, because everyone pretty much came down to pit again to get that little splash of fuel. As we almost have an incident on pit road as the 64 Roberson comes out as Shelton was coming in. But the 15, I think, is going to be right up at the front as they get this restart. And so really, I think that was a great call by Matt Watkins to do exactly what he just did.
For sure. That was a good call by him to come down. You want to make sure you got the most fuel in the truck as possible here at this super speedway. So I like that move. But as we look towards the front, Scott Guesswhite, I've said it earlier, he's been the most aggressive all night long so far. Or all day long so far. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. I wonder if he's going to be aggressive on this restart. He's got the lead. Let's see if he keeps that aggression.
Well, you know, there's a very popular saying up here in the Full Velocity booth when it comes to aggression, and that's if you get aggressive, aggressive goes around. And so maybe, just maybe, we'll see that happen too. But you're 100% right. Scott Guesswhite has been a man on a mission tonight. I talked with him earlier today about this race, about his approach, and he told me he's got some sponsors out there watching this race tonight. Watching his performance, and it may impact their decision to jump on board to sponsor him for future events. So not surprised to see the 47 running hard. He wants to be up front. I told him if he was up front, I was going to talk about him. So there you go, Scott. You're getting your 15 minutes here on the Full Velocity Network. Keep running hard, buddy, and I hope those sponsors, if you're out there watching, you want to be with this guy. It's worth it. So there you go. There's the plug for Scott Guesswhite, as the pace truck now is going to work its way off the racing surface back to pit road, and we're going to get this thing back underway, Brandon.
Oh, yes, we are. Phil Parker, I believe, is actually going to leave to the green here. Looks like he chose the outside there because he's got the edge over Scott Guesswhite there. So it looks like Phil Parker's going to leave him to the green here. And he's in the restart zone, and we're taking off. We've got the restart. Phil Parker takes him off, but Scott Guesswhite gets the advantage as they get towards the start-finish line. They'll bury down into turn 1. Looks like Phil Parker's got more help, though.
Yeah, the 47 got a great jump as they came to the green flag. I think it caught the two sleeping just a little bit, but the two got a good shove from behind. But now we see that inside lane start to get a little bit of steam as they work their way off of turn 2. There's Matt Watkins. He's the third truck in the inside lane. Scott Guesswhite now trying to figure out where do I go? And he's taking a little bit too long. He waited too long to make his move, Brandon. Look at that. He's not going to go anywhere. He's going straight to the back now. He's in the sucker hole in the middle.
Yes, he is. He's in what we call the sucker hole. He's got no help. He's getting passed by all these cars. There's nothing he can do either except hope that somebody gets behind him, hope that somebody gives him draft. And it looks like he's going to be able to slide back up. But as we go back up towards the front, look who is in the lead. Charles Counts. The first time we've seen him run up front all day long. He takes the lead on this restart. and he leads that lap, but Phil Parker still charging back on the outside. He's got Toby Roberson right behind him.
Well, Toby Roberson, pardon me, has been a great pusher so far tonight. We've seen him get up behind and push everyone that he has run behind up to the front. So Phil Parker in the 2 as he makes a bold move now. He ditches the 64. Oh, that was rude. And poor Toby's going. Now he's the guy stuck in the middle. Geiswhite fights back on the outside as they go into turn 3. Just like that, you see how quickly these positions can move around. The draft does that. Sometimes you can make a big move as now Phil Parker established himself out front with Matt Watkins pushing. You could be up front. You blink your eye, you could be 7th.
Look at Matt Watkins. He's going to make the move on Phil Parker now. And he looks like he's going to take the lead as he's got more help behind him. Frank Divins is not right behind him, but he's got the draft. And it looks like Phil Parker, he's going to try to pick up with Scott Guesswhite here. Hopefully Scott Guesswhite picks him up. He doesn't. He leads him out to dry, and they're 4 wide now behind Matt Watkins, who's leading this thing.
You know, you got to be real definitive in the moves that you make out here when you're going almost 200 miles an hour. And I've seen a few examples so far already, a few times by the 47 and right there by the number 2 of Phil Parker, making a slow move where you leave your competition unsure of what you're doing. They're already made up their mind of where they're going. And if you don't make a quick move and you make one of those real slow, lazy maneuvers, you could end up getting turned around. And these guys got to get real fast about the moves they're making. Otherwise, you're leaving yourself vulnerable to a guy not anticipating whatever you think you're going to do, and that's how you end up in a big accident.
Goes back to teammates. Who are your teammates going to be? As you see Frank Divins, look at that. You were just talking about he makes a move to the outside. Davey Hazard, Toby Roberson, nobody's going with him, but Matt Watkins looks like he's going to surrender the lead to Davey Hazard there. That was a very interesting move by him right there. I wonder what that was all about. He kind of just shifted up, and I wonder if he thought Davey Hazard was going to make a move to the outside, and Davey Hazard drove on right by him.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either, but just, you know, it seems like Watkins wants to be on the bottom now as he hangs Hazard out. He's got Roberson behind him. Maybe he's just trying to stay linked up with Roberson. Maybe that's the agreement, or that's who he wants to run with is the 64, because like I said, the 64 has been a great pusher so far this evening, and maybe that's who he really preferred to have, and so that's what he needed to do to get him formed back up on his rear bumper. Interesting. And look who's made their way back up to 3rd. That's Jessica Shelton and that Matt Kenseth-looking number 98 Dodge. Up to 3rd place. Great run. Good recovery. She pitted early in that first round of green flag stops. She lost the draft. That caution really saved her race, and now she's rewarding herself by a good third place run right now.
Yes, it did save her there. That yellow got her back. Most important thing you want to be draft is where you're going the fastest, and she is back in that 3rd spot. Matt Watkins still leading here. Toby Roberson in 2nd, and behind Jessica Shelton we have Steve Looney. That's a new face for right now, because we haven't seen Steve Looney in the top 5 really all day long, and he's in that number 21 truck behind Jessica Shelton. Gonna be interesting if he makes any moves here, as everybody's pretty much lined up. Phil Parker's making some moves in the back, but not very much racing going on here right now is what we were seeing on the restart.
Yeah, big difference from what we saw in that last run. Everyone's now hugging that yellow line on the bottom as opposed to running up along the wall like they were before. What do you think prompts that, Brandon? If you were running up top and everyone was single file and it was good, now why does everyone all of a sudden find themselves on the bottom running single file?
Well, feels something to do with that. You know, the bottom is a short. Save a lot more fuel that way. You got to wonder if these guys are trying to get in some sort of window. Maybe their crew chiefs are saying, hey, you know, we can make it on 2 more stops. Maybe even
That's a good point. I didn't think about fuel. The distance between run around the top and run around the bottom is definitely considerable over the even 12 or 14 laps they may go on a fuel run. So it could be to save fuel. Maybe they think, based off of how many laps there are to go, that if they are running a shorter radius and saving a little bit of fuel, they can possibly make this on one less stop than the rest of their competition. But as I say that, the 98 pokes her nose out to the top lane trying to form that thing up. She's getting a push from Steve Looney. We'll see. Who does that 5th truck in line go with? Looks like he's resigned to the bottom, but so far it's 2 on the bottom, 2 up top. But the bottom lane seems to be the one prevailing.
Yeah, I thought Charles Counts would go up there and help her, but he didn't. He stayed down on the bottom. And he looks like he's going to have Blake McCandless. Blake McCandless, who got in that earlier incident, his Dodge Ram is still firing forward as he has worked his way up into the 6th position. So he's still hanging in there. That outside is starting to form. Jessica Shelton's up there. You got Steve Looney behind her. And look who is right behind Steve Looney. The third car on the outside, that is Doug Lockrow. He has found his way back up to the front. And he knows where he needs to be because that's where Matt Watkins is right now, up front.
Yeah, absolutely right. You know, here comes the 98 with a huge run. They got a great run down that backstretch. It's 3-on-3 with the top in the middle, or the bottom in the middle, working pretty well there. The middle pinching that bottom lane down. That's what you got to do to slow their momentum down a little bit. So those three trucks on the top side are hanging tough as Jessica Shelton makes her claim for the lead here, side by side with Watkins as they flash by the start-finish line. Give the advantage to Watkins for now, but they get one more good round down that backstretch. We could have a different leader the next time around.
I think Jessica Shelton, she's really going to be hoping this is the turn that she gets Watkins here, because I think she should be able to get the bigger run here. No, she doesn't. She kind of maintains where she was at when she went in turn one, so she's really not passing well. Well, here she goes. Now she's getting that run. Look at Steve Looney and Doug Lockrow. They're bumper to bumper as they head down the backstretch.
Yeah, a few more trucks jumped up to that top side. I see the 4 of Lacasse jumping up there as well. So bringing a little more energy to the middle or outside groove. A little bit of contact off of turn 4 between Roberson and Looney. Oh, boy, you don't want to do that too many times. That was a lucky break that we didn't have a bigger incident there. They got away with one, I would say. But it seems like the aggression levels turned up a little bit here as that middle lane, or that outside lane to the inside lane, is really not keeping a lot of space between them. I mean, some of these trucks, you look between them, you couldn't fit a sheet of paper in between them. They're running real tight.
I'm telling you what, not Toby Roberson, but Jessica Shelton, Steve Looney, and Doug Lockrow, they're locked up again, and Phil Lacasse has joined his way in there as well. They're really, I mean, bumper to bumper, and look at how they just drive right past Matt Watkins there. They're working together really well right now, and you got to wonder if that's going to do them the same wonders right now towards the end of the race. Are they going to be bumper to bumper like that? And look at them, they're going. Jessica Shelton takes the lead, and they're separating.
Yeah, it broke up that bottom lane and really just completely eliminated the entire bottom lane. What a job those three drivers did. That is very impressive. I mean, to go from catching up, just the three of them, with more trucks underneath of them in that lane to power past them and then break up the inside lane. That's a power move right there by those three. So give the lead to Jessica Shelton. My pick to win in that number 98. I love seeing that Kenseth scheme out front. That's great. Brandon, I love that. I don't know about you. I mean, there's some good paint schemes out there tonight. I see what looks to be, I think Looney's driving, is that like a mellow yellow paint scheme? That looks nice too.
You know, mellow yellow Toyota. That really looks nice. I like that scheme. Not bad at all. There's a lot of good schemes. A lot of these trucks, they look nice, especially that DC Solar one in the, I think towards the back, Randall Coleman. I've had my eye on that one too, that DC Solar Chevrolet. You know, I love me some DC Solar, so that's definitely another sponsored truck that I really like there.
Well, we see one truck on the apron there. That's the 2 of Phil Parker. It looks like he came to pit road all by himself, and not sure if he had a problem out there on the track or this is some sort of a weird strategy play. I don't like it either way. That's not going to be beneficial to him as he loses a lap. But the bigger picture, he's going to lose the draft. So I'm not sure what happened to that 2 truck, but for the time being, he's going to be out of this thing and run around by himself. But we have a pretty big pack here. They got to be coming up close to pit stops again, I think.
Yeah, I think they should be coming up soon. It's about that 10. Well, I think we got 2 people pitting here. I think that was Jessica Shelton, the leader. She pulls off. She's going to come down pit road along with Doug Lockrow, our championship contender, and Scott Guesswhite. That's a pretty interesting group there, pitting together. 3 cars. I think we now know who's working together.
Yeah, the 98 and Lockrow, we saw them working together on the track. The 47 at Guesswhite, I'm not sure if he was planning to pit with them or he just saw 2 fast trucks hit pit road and said, you know what? I'm latching myself onto that wagon. I'm going to see if I can ride these guys to the front because they were very, very quick. So they hit pit road, and the rest of the field stays on the track. That'll hand the lead over to the 21 of Steve Looney, and we'll see these guys come down pit road the next time by, I'm sure. But service complete on the 3 first trucks there to pit. They are down and away, and we're watching this entry. It looks like everyone's slowing up. Steve Looney's coming in. Roberson's with him, and the rest of the field behind him. Is anybody going to make contact, or is it going to be clean? Looks like they all get down to 55 miles an hour, get it sorted out. So let's see the second round of pit stops, Brandon.
I just saw Matt Watkins lock those tires up. If you lock up those tires coming into pit road, it may change what you wanted to do coming in for your pit stop. Did you want to take 4 tires or 2 tires? But when you lock them down like that, you may have to take 4 tires. And looks like that maybe what Matt Watkins has to do is he's in his pit box. Frank Divins comes to his service, and Blake McCandless towards the end of pit road. He has come in. He's getting serviced by his pit crew as well.
Well, I can tell you those first 3 trucks that hit pit road is now just a duo. The 47 at Geiswhite is out of the picture. He did not get off of pit road very well, so now it's just Lockrow and Shelton running nose to tail out there. We'll see where they blend in with the rest of this pack, but at least they have each other as dancing partners. They're not going to be in big of trouble or lose that pack nearly as badly as if they were by themselves, but not having that third truck at Geiswhite is definitely going to hurt their ability to get back up to the front as these guys work their way off of pit road now. We'll see how this all works out. I think they're going to be okay, but losing that third truck might have been a bigger blow to them being further up in this pack.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if they would have had Scott Guesswhite, they may have been able to charge up to the front of this pack. But it looks like they're going to be able to maintain, and I think that's the main thing they're worried about. There's still a lot of time left to kind of work your way up to the front. We are starting to get down towards the ending stages of this race. Looks like just a little over 25 laps to go. So definitely, I know Jessica Shelton, she's been aggressive this race, and that was your pick. She's been aggressive. She's been working her way up to the front. She's had help from behind her. So I think she's going to be able to work her way back up to the front here soon, but she's not going to be able to do it with everybody single file like this. And it looks like she's working her way past a few trucks in the back now.
Well, I tell you, her and Lockrow are working together so well. They saw this whole line of leaders on the bottom again, and they said, you know what, to heck with that. We're jumping to the outside, and the 18 is latched onto the rear bumper of that 98, following her wherever she is going as they're going to work their way now 3 wide down the backstretch. I don't know. They seem to have just this immense ability to be able to work together and drive up through this field. It's unlike any other combination of trucks I think we've seen yet, but now we see the 18 fall back. He wasn't able to hang with her as he got stuck behind the 354 of Davey Hazard. That sort of broke up that little tandem they had working. And now these things have sorted out. We have a lead pack established once again. But at the front of all this is the 166, the truck that we saw spinning around and smacking the wall earlier. That's Blake McCandless.
Yes, he's worked his way back up to the front. I was saying, don't count him out. He was really firing up towards the front on that restart. Got Charles Counts behind him. They've kind of got themselves a little 2-car breakaway here. You got to wonder if those guys behind them are starting to get anxious. Old Jessica Shelton, she kind of bumps Toby Roberson out of the way. She's got to work her way up to almost the 3rd spot here. Look at her work her way up towards the front. She's passed basically the whole field in 2 laps. That's a fast race. That's a fast racetrack down there.
Yeah, it sure is. She's channeling the power of Kenseth. I've seen Kenseth win at Talladega a number of years ago. He was driving a pink car. Well, they also had about a 62-car wreck behind him, but he was out front anyway, so not a big deal. That was fun to see, but she is really just hauling the mail in that outside lane. She's got a good push behind her from Hazard, and she got her drafting buddy, championship contender Lockrow, right there with them. But you look there, Brandon, championship contenders door to door as they work their way down the backstretch.
Yeah, door to door for sure. You gotta be thinking Doug Lockrow, like I was saying before the race, he's got to finish a good amount of spots ahead of Matt Watkins. So right now he's not happy. He's got to have a gap between him and Matt Watkins. Or maybe if he wins the race, it kind of helps with that gap. Because if you win the race, you obviously get a little bit more points than your other competitors as a bonus. So Doug Lockrow may have to win to seal the deal for this championship tonight. And you got to be thinking, is he going to be able to do that? We haven't seen Doug Lockrow up front ever since the beginning stages of this race. It looks like Jessica Shelton's been the fastest ever since that caution. She's been able to work her way and make the moves that she's want to. Doug Lockrow's been working with her a lot. Oh, Davey Hazard works his way down towards the bottom. We'll see if Jessica Shelton's able to hang up there with no help now, but she does have Doug Lockrow behind her.
Yeah, the 98's been very strong, but now Lockrow ditches her too. So now you see the strategy start to come in. I think Lockrow realizes, hey, the 15's there. I need to move up. I can't just be riding around. I got to make a move to get back up to the front because that's all he can do. I think you're right. I think he has to win now as he makes a move for third inside the 354. Oh, that was close. Nearly contact But they get away clean as they go by the start-finish line to begin lap 37. 20 laps to go here at Talladega, folks. This is the Extreme Super Speedway Series Segment 3 finale. A champion will be crowned here tonight. It's either going to be Matt Watkins or it's going to be Doug Lockrow. Right now, Matt Watkins appears to be in the catbird seat as he's just 3 trucks behind Lockrow. Lockrow's going to have to win this race and get some help, but so far we have not seen anything, Brandon, to suggest. As Lockrow now makes a bid for the lead, we haven't seen anything suggest there's going to be a wreck big enough to put a points discrepancy out there where Lockrow's going to make that ground up that he was facing coming into this race. But you know what? As we look now, he's in the best position he can be. He's P1. He can't do anything better than that right now.
I'm telling you, I gotta apologize to Doug Lockrow. I mean, I was putting him down. We hadn't seen him up front ever since the beginning stage of the race, and he has worked his way to the lead. He single-handedly did that on his own. He didn't really have anybody on his back bumper. He just made a few moves and worked his way up to the front, and it's amazing how things can change. You know, we were just double foul. Jessica Shelton was up there. She's actually fallen back a little bit further into the pack. And now we've got Doug Lockrow in the lead. Matt Watkins in 4th position. That's still, I think, a little bit too close for Doug Lockrow. But like you were saying, he may need some help. And, you know, things happen in super speedways. And we still got a lot, not too much time to go, but there's still time for trouble. And that's definitely something that Doug Lockrow's got to keep in the back of his mind. But he knows leading laps and being in 1st place right now is the best thing that he can do at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, they still have one more pit stop that they're going to have to make. We know that much. So they're going to have to execute one more time on pit road, probably under the green flag. It may be under yellow, but so far it would seem that it's going to be another green flag stop. And Brandon, you know as well as I do, a green flag stop on championship night can be the difference between hoisting that trophy and being a guy that misses out on the chance for being called the champion of a series. So there's still a few more hurdles to get over here. Just being out front is not going to be everything he needs to do, he being Doug Lockrow. They're going to have to execute a pit stop here in probably the next 7 to 8 laps. And that could be the difference. That could be the break. Matt Watkins could screw up. He could be speeding. He could blow a tire from locking up, you know, coming in real hot. Any number of things could happen. One of these guys could get hit from behind. I know you and I have both experienced that, getting tackled by some guy coming on a pit road entirely too fast. So there's just a number of things still that could play out that could alter the landscape here of this championship fight.
Definitely is. A lot of bad luck things can happen, and they can happen quick. I mean, we've seen it at super speedways before. Like you were saying, our experience, we've had things happen to us in the snap of an eye at super speedways like this. So that's definitely, and most of the things that happen at super speedways are out of your control, and that's it, that happens in front of you. But you did mention a lot of things that are in your control. Speeding on pit road, that's something that you have to take care of. You don't want to get a penalty. Bad pit stops. Your pit crew's got to be on point for this last pit stop. You don't want to lose the draft. So those are definitely key points that are in the back of Doug Lockrow and Matt Watkins' mind as this race continues on.
You look down on pit road, you look atop some of those pit boxes, you might see smoke rising from those things. And you say, well, why is there smoke down on pit road? That's the radio communication, the brains, the pencils scrambling on paper, everyone wheeling and dealing, trying to get their dancing partners lined up here as they prepare to make this final green flag stop. You're cutting deals. You say, hey, buddy, come and work with me. Pit with me, let's draft together. We got the right strategy. We can make it out front, and we'll battle it out between us. Or get 3 or 4 guys together and say, hey, you know what? We can all work together, and we can blow these guys out of the water by 2-3 seconds if we execute this thing. Or, you know, and especially if you're one of the championship leaders, you're trying to get as many friends as you can to pit with you to help your cause. So communications are picking up, I'm sure, and they're trying to figure this thing out. But they're still trying to drive a race truck at 200 miles an hour as well. It's not easy to do that, but it's a necessity if you're going to have success.
You definitely want to make sure that you're focused on your race, focused on the race at hand, and definitely working on a strategy. As you know, most of the field is single foul right now. They've kind of got the Congo line going there. Nobody really making any moves. As you were saying, they're mostly just strategizing right now. Who do I want to work with later in the race? When am I going to pit? You know, they definitely don't want to put yourself in a situation to where you have to hope somebody goes with you. I mean, just think if Matt Watkins was to make a move to the outside and somebody didn't go with him, that would be terrible for him, because as you see with this line, if somebody goes outside, you get left, you fall back to the end of the line. So, I mean, it's almost like getting out of the line at a restaurant. You go to the back of the line, and that's definitely going to be be a key point. When are people going to make moves, and who are you going to make moves with?
Well, to play off your restaurant analogy there, if you're Matt Watkins and you make the wrong move, you're making a reservation for about 12th place at the back of this pack. As we see Davey Hazard get shuffled out of line, Frank Divins is going to take over that spot. And as we look at this poor truck drop to the back now in that outside lane, Davey Hazard has a reservation. It's at 6 o'clock. It's a table for one at the back of the line. So he made the wrong move, or somebody put a good move on him, and he didn't defend it. But he's going to fall back in line there. Oh, we got trouble up front. Robertson's around. Watkins is around. Oh, the implications here. Oh, how did he save that truck? We got more contact. Frank Divins through the grass. The yellow's going to be out. This changes everything.
Wow, Matt Watkins and Doug Locker were both involved in that wreck. Matt Watkins actually hit the wall pretty hard. I don't know what happened up front there. It looked like Doug Locker just lost it out front. That was crazy. I mean, it happened out of nowhere. We were just talking about the single foul line that was going on there, and I can't believe that just happened. You think that everybody was being calm.
That was unbelievable. I mean, we were just sitting here saying these guys were being real calm. They're trying to strategize and put themselves in the right spot. And then just like that, blink of an eye, all chaos breaks loose as they come out of turn 4, coming down the front stretch there, and huge implications as both of our championship contenders are involved. Somehow, Matt Watkins makes it through that. I thought he was dead to rights going into the outside wall, brings it back, and we'll see all this on the replay here in just a moment once Todd Stanton gets all this action under thumb. But that could be a championship-saving move right there by Matt Watkins to bring that truck back under control as all hell broke loose around him off of turn 4.
Definitely going to be a key component now. We were talking about key points earlier. Key point now is what kind of damage do you have? You got to make sure that you're going to be aerodynamically competitive to keep racing. You know, you want to make sure you're able to race up towards the front.
Well, as we watch these trucks now come onto pit road, we're going to get this thing queued up in the full velocity replay. Todd Stanton, we're going to throw it over to you once you're ready to show us what happened there. These guys are going to make their caution pit stops to get the damage repair, get some fuel in that thing. Todd, take it away when you're ready.
Yes, indeed. What a wreck this one was. This is definitely the definition of the big one here. And we're going to show you this in ultra slow motion here as I was rewinding it here and making it look really good. But right now, you see Doug Lockrow, the number 18 truck. He's trying to make a pit stop. You don't see the telemetry. I've seen the telemetry before. He was down to 160-some miles an hour, 164 to be exact. And you watch Doug Lockrow. He hits the apron just a little bit, overcorrects up into the number 9 of Frank Divins. That sends Matt Watkins around. That sends the whole rest of the field around. I mean, Matt Watkins, Toby Roberson. You got the number 18 machine, of course, going down hard into the wall. You got the 21 of Steve Looney. You got the 24 Randall Coleman, Charles Couch in the number 01. He just barely misses it. There's a lot of trucks just barely missing this. I'm trying to get a couple different angles. I know Blake McCandless got involved in it too. He got a piece of it from earlier too. So he's been in the wrong place at the wrong time in both wrecks now. But a lot of these guys heavily damaged, hard contact to the wall. I believe though that we have some different. I believe it's just moderate damage. So some of these guys may be able to fix their damage and be almost unscathed out there. But some of these guys have heavy damage on their trucks.
Thank you so much, Todd, for that replay analysis there. I mean, it's kind of crazy, David. We were literally just talking about not making mistakes. Doug Lockrow trying to get down on the pit road, and he just loses it in front of the field. And it didn't only affect him, it affected multiple of his other competitors as well.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot prepare for a wreck like that. I mean, you do not expect the leader to come back up in front of the field like that at any track, let alone a super speedway. And that's just the one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I mean, he had this thing pointed to pit road and then just hooks a hard right, collects the field, hits the 9 of Divins, hits the 15 of Watkins. Watkins goes nose first into the outside wall hard. And then he gets up in the air, Brandon. I don't know if you saw that on that replay. Watkins is in the air. I mean, he's basically flying. Right side tires, maybe all 4 tires off the ground, and lands on the 64 of Roberson, and it straightens him out. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, to be able to go up in the air like that at speed and then not go flipping over or anything like that, Brandon, I'm telling you, that 15's got a golden horseshoe somewhere in that truck.
He was definitely very lucky in that wreck. I mean, there were several opportunities for him to get hit by somebody at the wrong angle at the wrong time, and that could have been disastrous for him. And I think him, landing kind of on top of the 64 may have saved his championship run here. So, I mean, this is going to be really interesting. Who's got the most damage? Like, who's going to be able to compete here? What kind of trucks do these guys have left? There really wasn't a lot of people that avoided that wreck. Tom Richter was able to make it through. Frank Divins, he got bounced around a little bit, but he may not have that much damage. And your pick, and be honest, one of the fastest cars or trucks here tonight, Jessica Shelton, she was able to make it through that unscathed. So there's a few trucks that were able to make it through that okay. So it's going to be, like I was saying, who's going to have the most damage, who's going to be able to compete still, and what's the situation with Matt Watkins and Doug Lockrow? Are they both hurt, or is one of them hurt more than the other?
Yeah, that's really going to be what we need to watch here is the 2 championship contenders. Both of them caught a big piece of that action. I'm worried about the 15 of Watkins, who goes nose first in the outside wall. That's never a good thing. I don't care how lightly you touch it. When you hit with the front end, that's the first thing hitting the air as you're driving around this racetrack. So you mess up the aerodynamics, the bodywork on the front of these race vehicles, that's not good, and that may slow him down. He may not be able to go out in front of a pack and pull a pack around here. He may be relegated to just pushing people around, but he may have to have someone in front of him to go as fast as he was before. And then conversely, looking at Lockrow in the 18, I don't think he had as bad a contact as Watkins did. So he may be in better shape, but he's got trucks that he has to pass here. We're going to restart this race with 9 laps to go, so not a lot of time to get it done. And if I know anything about race car drivers at a super speedway with under 10 laps to go, we may not be done wrecking it up yet. And there still may be a few plot twists and turns to go. I mean, we've seen the 66 of Blake McCandless. He went through a wreck earlier, and he seems to be running okay. I'm not sure if it was severe as Watkins, but the best news for Matt Watkins, Brandon, he's starting up front, P1 on this restart.
Yeah, as I said, if you're a championship contender, you want to be up front. That's the best thing that you can possibly do. And Matt Watkins is going to restart this race up front with only a few laps to go. I mean, can you believe this? We're coming down to the end of this thing. This is where everything matters. You're still fighting for that championship. You still got a chance to win it, and I think you got to let it all loose here. I was talking earlier about Matt Watkins, running in the back and being safe, but I think he's in the safest spot that he could possibly be right now in that first position. If he's able to get out to a gap, he's going to have Tom Richter starting to his outside. Starting behind Matt Watkins is going to be Blake McCandless in that 166 truck in third place. He's been fast today. And Toby Roberson, the good pusher, is going to be on his outside in the fourth position. Round out that top 5 is going to be Steve Looney in that 21 truck, that mellow yellow that we were just talking about earlier. It's going to be interesting to see what happens as we're getting ready to go back green here.
So let's put ourselves in the shoes of one Blake McCandless. You're lined up second on the inside row. You know you got a damaged truck in front of you. How patient are you going to be riding behind him if he seems to be a little bit off pace? He's a championship contender. He's the championship leader. You don't want to make too big of a move to wreck the guy, but you also don't want to be stuck behind a guy that's a little bit off pace.
You definitely don't want to be stuck behind a guy that's off pace, but you got to realize that Blake McCandless may have a little bit of damage himself from an earlier wreck as we get ready to go back green here. And Matt Watkins leads them back off to the green. We're back underway here at Talladega.
All right, pack getting up to speed again as they steam off down into turn 1. Which lane is going to have the advantage first? Matt Watkins in that slightly damaged vehicle. He's out front. The 66 of McCandless, he's right on his tailgate, though, pushing him. And you can already see, I think the 15 is a little bit off pace there as the 66 trying to stay in line. I know he respects the championship battle, but he's a race car driver that loves to win as well, and he's not going to pass up the opportunity. Right now he seems to be content to ride behind him as Watkins now leads up to that middle lane, maybe feeling that he has a better chance of getting a speed advantage if he can find the right lane to put his truck. But so far, single file on the bottom, a little bit of contact there for third. They're getting real aggressive back there on the bottom lane.
Yeah, as you were saying, Matt Watkins does look like he may be off pace a little bit. Blake McCandless is all over his back bumper. You got to wonder, Blake McCandless may be patient and ride behind Matt Watkins, but how patient are those guys going to be behind Blake McCandless? Is Steve Looney going to make a move? Doug Locker's fighting for the championship. He's in the fourth position. He can't let Matt Watkins win or even finish ahead of him. He's going to have to make a move here if he's going to want to have a chance at this championship.
Well, he's got to look behind him and say, who do I have behind me? Will they go with me if I make a move? You don't want to make a move too early, especially if somebody's not going to go with you. I'm looking at the trucks lined up behind Lockrow. He's got the 024 of Randall Coleman. There's the 98 of Jessica Shelton. We saw them working well together earlier, so I don't know if they're going to try and get hooked up and make a run here. But for right now, Lockrow's stuck in fourth place, riding Steve Looney's rear. Maybe he'll work with Looney as Looney now makes the move to the outside. Here we go. This is going to be who makes the move to the front. This could be the move that puts the championship in the balance for one of these drivers as the two trucks on the outside. Inside lane still has more energy, Brandon. I don't know how this one's going to shake out.
Well, I am looking a bit towards the back because Scott Guswhite and Frank Divins are actually prevailing on that outside as well. They may try to come and help Doug Lockrow and Steve Looney make this move. That will make 4 trucks on the outside, but the majority of the field is down on the bottom. I mean, this is interesting. Nobody really made the move with Steve Looney and Doug Lockrow there like we thought they would. And like you were saying, who's going to make the move and who's going to make it now?
Yeah, that outside lane just didn't have the energy to make it happen there. Maybe they made that move too soon, but Doug Lockrow has no time to waste now as he throws it 3 wide. He's going to get past Steve Looney as quickly as he can. He's got Guswhite now pushing him and Frank Divins in line there. He's getting into desperation mode because he sees a championship going out the window. Has a little bit of contact there. We got some rough bumping and banging back there as they try to get this thing sorted out. Meanwhile, Matt Watkins has got to be loving this as he looks up and doesn't see that 18 anywhere close to him. He knows he's got the best chance at this championship right now if they can just keep it green and he can keep that 18 behind him.
As we have is out. The yellow flag is out as Steve Looney has spun around in the back coming off of turn number 2.
I think they're racing back here. They are racing back. Watkins defends that bottom line. They do race back in the series. Look at Randall Coleman coming with a huge run on the outside. Big push from the 98. They're going to get down to the line. It's side by side. Give it to Coleman at the line. He's going to be the leader. Watkins is going to be second. I think they have enough laps to get this thing back under green. If they get quick yellow here, we may have just a couple lap shootout. But right now, Watkins definitely has this championship in his control.
What a power move by Randall Coleman. Sorry about that, folks. I did not realize we were racing back. And Randall Coleman, I mean, he surged to the front on that lap because you got to remember, Randall Coleman was sitting in that third position behind Blake McCandless and Matt Watkins. He was able to make the power move coming off of turn 4 with Jessica Shelton and work his way into maybe a winnable spot. He may have a better chance at winning this race than what he did when he was in that third position now. Let's see what happens. Like you said, I think we're going to get a restart with only just a handful of laps to go.
Yeah, looks like we had some contact in the back of the pack. Steve Looney came out on the short end of that stick, possibly contact with the number 4 of Phil Lacasse. We'll dial up a full velocity instant replay here. Todd, show us what broke loose there in the back of the pack.
Well, as we get back to the screen here, we're going to show you what happened real briefly. It looked like the 21 of Steve Looney. He was right up top. Phil Lacasse just pushed up the track just a little bit. That was just enough to send Steve Looney around hard into the outside wall. Then he backs it into the inside wall. Tough break for Steve Looney as he was running inside the top 10 here all evening long. And then he was actually peeking into the top 5 here earlier. But Steve Looney around, he makes the worst of it. He's the only car around hard into the inside wall.
Well, if anything, Brandon, that gives us an opportunity to catch our breath as things were certainly starting to amp up there. I mean, What a run by Randall Coleman. Now, he had the 98 pushing him, and we've seen Jessica Shelton be very, very fast so far tonight. She's been very good, working well with other trucks, so I'm not surprised that he got that big of a push. But really, I mean, it's almost like he came out of nowhere. It's like they used to say for Kevin Harvick, where did he come from? I mean, really, that was just an amazing power move to the outside, as you said, and now he finds himself leading this race with just a few laps to go.
I mean, Coleman really surged his way up to the front. That was a wonderful move. Probably I'd say the move of the race so far. Put yourself in the lead late in the race. Now all you gotta do is block. May not seem that easy, but I mean, he's still got some laps he's gonna have to log here if he's gonna want to finish this race off. It does look like we'll probably get a restart here. And one thing I want to point out is Randall Coleman, he's going to be in that first position. He's obviously going to get to pick his lane. He just had his dancing partner, Jessica Shelton, push him to the lead. You know he's going to be lining up in front of Jessica Shelton on this restart. Got to wonder if Jessica Shelton is able to push him past that 15 and Jessica Shelton's able to make a move maybe of her own. We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be very interesting. Definitely the top 5, all capable of winning this race right now. I mean, every single one of them have been fast all day long.
Yeah, I tell you, if I'm the 24 of Randall Coleman right now, I am doing everything to communicate to the 98 of Jessica Shelton to stay with me, stay on my bumper, keep pushing me until she absolutely has to make a move if she wants to make a bid for the win herself. She's been a fantastic pusher. She's been great out front as well, so I don't want to paint the picture that she's only been good pushing somebody. She's been a great leader as well, proving that 98 is very fast out front. I like the position that she's in, but again, it comes down to having to make a decision as a race car driver. Do you help your competition, or do you make a move and be selfish to try and get the win, all meanwhile trying to keep in mind there's a championship battle going on. You got a guy in front of you that you've worked well with so far tonight. So do you want to play nice? Do you want to make a move and be selfish? These are all the things a race car driver has to consider in split-second time. And, you know, sometimes you make the right decision. Sometimes you make the wrong decision. But on a super speedway, Brandon, you get one opportunity to make a decision, and you really don't have an opportunity to make up for it if it's the wrong one.
Yeah, I really think from personal experience, if I was on the racetrack right now, I would probably be doing everything I could do to win instead of doing everything I could do to help somebody else win. So I'm definitely going to be making some moves here if I was late in this race. If I'm in Jessica Shelton's position, I've had a fast truck all day long. I've got the truck to win this race. I'm going to make a move on that 24 of Randall Coleman. I'm not just going to push him out to the win. And we keep pointing this out as well. When is everybody going to make the move? It's now or never. We're probably going to get a restart with maybe about 2 laps to go here, give or take. We'll have to see if these lights go out and that's time to come across the line. But I'm really curious to see who's going to make the move, when they're going to make the move. Are they going to wait till the white flag? With Matt Watkins out there on the outside now, I feel like he's even more vulnerable to get left. You know, he's got that damage. We can see it's affecting his speeds a little bit. I'm kind of interested to see left or anything here, because Doug Lockrow, he's far back now. I mean, we've been pointing out this championship picture all day long. He's 7th place right now. Matt Watkins in the 2nd position. Doug Lockrow knows he has to finish a pretty good amount of spots ahead of Matt Watkins. So, I mean, just a lot going on here. We've got a lot to cover. We've got to cover a race for the win, race for the championship. Are you ready, David?
It's the race within the race within the race. It's raceception. And I'm ready. I'm excited. Listen, we both have won our fair share of races. You just won a championship in a truck series last night. It's nice to be on this side of it, isn't it? To just sit back and watch and dictate what's going on to the fans, bringing the pictures to life, and not have to worry about being out there on the racetrack and dealing with the stress and anxiety of all these moves. It's nice to be a broadcaster and just enjoy watching it as a race fan, isn't it?
It definitely is. A lot less stress on the line when you're watching from upstairs than being out there on this wonderful super speedway. Definitely a lot. I'm sure the drivers are a lot more stressed out than what we are right now. As we get the 1-2 green, the lights are out. We're gonna go green with 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go. Once we get the restart here, David, it's gonna be a 2-lap shootout for sure. We got a race for the win, race for the championship. A lot going on. 2 laps could be the most important 2 laps of Matt Watkins' career or Doug Lockro's career here. So, going to be very important 2 laps here.
Yeah, it's the Extreme Super Speedway Series version of the green, white, checker, green flag, then a white flag, then a checkered flag. But if the yellow flies, they will be racing back, and that'll be the end of it when they get back to the stripe. So 2 of the most exciting laps that you're about to see coming up right now. A championship hangs in the balance. Will it be Matt Watkins in the 15, or will it be Doug Lockro in the 18? It's going to take something big for Doug to pull this thing off. I like where Matt Watkins is, but you got to be so nervous knowing there's a whole bunch of trucks that are just going to be super greedy because they want to win behind you. They don't care if you win the championship or not. They don't want to be the guy that ruins it, but they really don't care if you win it because they want to win a race, and this is an opportunity to do that. So a precarious position to be in if you're Matt Watkins. You got to be smart. You don't want to make a block on a guy and put yourself in a position where he may not lift and you're going spinning, and then all of a sudden that championship might be going bye-bye.
Yes, as we know, these 2 laps can either be awful or they could be great. They can make or break a race. And as you just pointed out, anything can happen. Who's going to be greedy? Who's going to be the most aggressive? Who's going to be willing to make it 3 wide? Who's going to want to win this race? David, as we get ready to go back green, do you want to send us off for the restart?
Yeah, I sure do. I almost don't even want to talk. I just want to watch what happens, but we'll bring it to you live. Thanks for joining us out there on YouTube with the Full Velocity Network, bringing the last 2 laps of the Segment 3 finale for the Extreme Super Speedway Series here at Talladega. Matt Watkins and Randall Coleman on the front row. The green flag is out. Watkins gets a great jump. Watkins on the outside getting a push from Blake McCandless, and we got the inside lane almost breaking apart here. Watkins walking away with this thing on the outside lane.
I'm very shocked. Randall Coleman did not get a very good restart there. Matt Watkins is going to clear him and get to the inside. He leaves Blake McCandless there. He works his way back towards the bottom. He works his way back up to the top. He's got to block these lanes now. Who's going to have the momentum? His spotter is telling him the bottom's coming, the outside's coming. He's got to make sure he blocks correctly. Any wrong block can send him to the back.
Boy, I am so surprised at the move that Matt Watkins made to slam the door shut on an inside lane going into 1. There was not enough room to make that move, but he didn't care. He's going for the win. He wants a win and a championship tonight. He wants to double dip it as he maintains his lead. Randall Coleman makes a move to the outside now, but put the 98 of Jessica Shelton now to the inside. She's going to take over the second place. What move is she going to make? White flag in the air. One more lap around here, Brandon, as they go down to turn 1. Give the lead to Watkins still with the 98 of Shelton hot on his tail.
Look at Michael Murata and Davey Hazard make that 3rd groove work. You've got Matt Watkins in the lead, Jessica Shelton right behind him. And as we take a look, that 3rd place car is Doug Lockro. He's got a trouble behind him, but they're still racing back. 3 wide for the lead. Michael Murata shoots the gap. He goes to the lead, I believe. He's going to have Jessica Shelton behind him. They're coming off of turn 4 for the final time.
Huge wreck behind him, but they're racing back. Put Murata out front. Watkins in second on the inside, but pushes on the outside, though. What a move to thread that needle. Coming through the tri-oval. Can Jessica Shelton make a move? She goes to the outside. Frank Divins ditches her. He's got a run now coming. He moves to the outside. It's going to be too late. Give the win to Michael Murata as they cross the line. Give the championship to Matt Watkins. What a race we had here tonight, but in the end, it comes down to a last lap pass and a huge crash. But it's Michael Murata in the 63 coming home with the checkered flag. Brandon, can you believe what you just saw?
You gotta love super speedway racing. Michael Murata didn't lead a single lap tonight. He led the most important one. He got the win, and that super speedway racing is so amazing. That was one of the best finishes I think I've ever been able to watch from just spectating. That was amazing. What a finish we got here. All the viewers, I hope you guys enjoyed that finish. That was amazing. Matt Watkins is going to be our champion, and our winner, Michael Murata, we didn't even talk about him a lot today. He's going to be able to burn it down with Matt Watkins.
I don't think I mentioned him one time. I think maybe you did once. But you know what? It's not about any of the other laps that you lead as long as it's the last one. And tonight, he led the last one, and what an exciting one it was. There was a huge wreck behind him. There was just contact, and a melee was on from there. The championship contenders made it through, and then the fight was on for the win as they went 3 wide, and Murata just shot the middle and split him and held on back to the checkered flag. That was just a power move, the will to win, and he took it. And Matt Watkins very intelligently stayed out of trouble. He knew he had the 18 of Lockrow right there with him, and he didn't have to do anything special, just not get spun out. What a finish. Congratulations. I'm exhausted. I wasn't even driving, but we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to get these guys dialed up. We're going to grab the top 3 finishers to do a quick interview here with them, but we want to talk to our champion as well. We're going to get them all lined up here. Give us just a moment to do that as we get them filed in, and we're going to ask them about their night here, Brandon. But what a wonderful night of racing. These guys got to feel real good about this show they put on tonight.
For sure. These guys definitely put on a show for us, and I'm so happy for Matt Watkins. I mean, just last night he had a pretty upsetting moment. He wasn't able to win the championship in the 7-Eleven Super Truck Series, but he was able to capture the championship tonight in what I'd call one of the most spectacular finishes I've seen in a long time. Definitely a lot of hard racing, and I'll tell you one thing. We're going to let you guys review that one more time. What a finish. What a last lap. And we're going to throw it to Todd here for a replay. Todd Stanton's going to give you a replay analysis of what happened to his last lap there.
I'm about speechless. I'll say that for the most part. Not sure what really happened besides carnage ensued down the back straightaway here, down into turn number 3. And it looked like the 47. We were talking about aggressiveness and Scott Geiswhite in that number 47 machine. He was trying to get aggressive, and aggressive did not work out for him here at the end of this race, as it looked like he was trying to drift up the track just a little bit to pinch the guy off, to try to get a little bit of the side draft, and around he goes, and he collects a bunch of trucks. Oh, Davey Hazard, he gets the flip count for the night. Nice wheelie by Tom Richter down the back straightaway. But Davey Hazard, he's the one that flipped the truck tonight. He gets flip count number 1 and the one and only. So it was awesome to see some of this wreck on the back straightaway. It was a melee, to say the least.
Well, no better finish than I could think of recently in a super speedway race, except for one that I won back in July at Daytona, where there was a huge wreck down the backstretch, and I came out of that with a checkered flag. Brandon, I think you did the same thing at Talladega back in the spring, didn't you? Wasn't there a big wreck, and you came out a winner somehow? Can't hear you, man.
Yeah, same exact thing happened pretty much. I was able to avoid a wreck and work my way up to the front after avoiding the wreck and getting the win. I think that was in the I believe it was actually in the FTF Jones Cup Series. So that was a very interesting race too.
Well, that sometimes you got to be in the right place in the right time, and you come out of there with the hardware. So we've all benefited from one of those in the past, and tonight we saw that happen once again. But let's talk to some of our top finishers. We got 3 of them lined up, plus a champion to talk to. But we're going to start first with our third-place finisher. I picked her to win. I loved the paint scheme. She was a very fast truck all night, and came up just a little bit short. She had an opportunity there when that melee broke out on the backstretch, but came up for a third-place finish, and it's Jessica Sheldon. We got her here in the booth, and Jessica, great run tonight. You were so fast. You looked good out leading a train. You looked good pushing, and thought you had a real good shot for the win there, but came up just a little bit short. Tell me about your run here tonight. Well, Jessica's still getting unhooked here. Let's give her a second before she is ready for this interview. I think I got to her a little bit too quick. We'll give her a second to get unbuckled and compose herself for this interview. It was a long, hard night out there, and I know sometimes you're not quite ready just to chat when you're done, but we'll give her a moment to work herself through here and get the thoughts of one Jessica Shelton, your third-place finisher here tonight. While she does that, Brandon, this race had it all. But, Brandon, we'll give you the opportunity to talk to our second-place finisher here, a good buddy of yours, drove the 9 and really had a close shot for the win there. That's Frank Divins. Brandon, take it away with our second-place finisher.
Yes, I've caught up with the number 9 of Frank Divins. Frank Divins, you ran up front a lot today. You kind of found yourself in the back. You were able to find yourself back up to the front. You got caught up in a wreck when I believe it was Doug Lockrow when he was trying to come down pit road. He got loose in front of you. You had nowhere to go, but you were able to work your way up towards the end and get a third place finish. Tell me about your night.
Oh, well, I just tried to stay safe. I was actually working with Doug trying to get him some points. I knew he was 8 points behind Matt in the standings, and also tried to get him in many laps late so he didn't have to spend so much money tonight. But anyway, yeah, I tried to stay out of trouble. I was leading at the time that he went down pit road and locked him up and caught me. I got lucky I didn't hit a wall, so I just pretty much stayed in the back after that. But then it seemed like on that last restart, everybody wanted to kill each other, and I was just trying to make sure that I got by them. And when I did, I guess I had enough momentum, and they were banging doors coming out of 4 up front. Somehow I ended up second. I'm still not figured out how that happened. But if I had just caught on Michael's draft a little bit more earlier, I may have gotten by him. I'm not sure.
That last restart, you restarted all the way back in the 10th position. I mean, did you think you were that's the 11th position? Did you think you were going to be able to find yourself up in the 3rd position? Or did you think it was possible to work your way all the way up to the front and you getting interviewed here on the podium tonight?
No, I didn't think I'd be able that far. I figured people will start moving around and all that, and as soon as they started moving around down that backstretch is when I started looking low to make sure I stayed away from what they were doing. And sure as all, they did wreck, and I was able to get by them. But the leaders were pretty far up ahead of me. I did not think that I could actually catch them coming out of 4 to be able to finish beside Michael there for second. I did not think I'd be that close.
I tell you what, Frank, you did a good job never giving up and staying in it. I'd go ahead and let you know. Go ahead and give a shout out to whoever you want to thank tonight, and the floor is yours. Thank people that you want to thank and shout people out.
Yeah, I want to thank Doug Lockrow for actually putting up this money for this broadcast. It's the second segment in a row he did that, and I want to thank him for that. Also, of course, Scott Geiswhite at Geiswhite Creations is going to be giving out mugs, and he's giving out something to the winner tonight. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I'm not sure how many laps that Michael led to be able to get that from Doug as well. And of course, I want to thank everyone at Full Velocity Network. They are the best ones out there, bar none. They are no cow and pony show, that's for sure. And I want to thank you all for everything you do. And 2017 is over for me. Let's get it on with 2018.
I tell you, Frank, that was a really good hard fight battle tonight. Thanks for talking to us after the race here.
All right, thank you all.
All righty, that was our 3rd place finisher. I believe, David, you've caught up with that was 2nd place finisher. I believe Todd has caught up with our winner, Michael Murata. Am I correct on that, Todd?
Yes, indeed, I have. I'm down here in Victory Lane with Michael, the number 63. Michael, it's one of them questions. Where'd you come from here tonight? You got through that wreck at the end. You led the most important lap, the only lap of the evening that you've led, and you brought home the victory here tonight on the Full Velocity Network. How's it feel?
Well, geez, I'm not even sure where to start. The last 2 laps was insane. My original plan was to work with Charles and try and get by everyone else on the outside, but that didn't really come to fruition. And well, I pushed Davey to a win last week, and I guess he wanted to repay the favor because he gave me a huge shot. And I knew that 15 was going to try and block, and I just kind of had to time it perfectly, trying to get through there and split the gap.
Oh, indeed, you did time it perfectly here this evening, and a great race here tonight for you. You can't be disappointed with that. Of course, you're down here in Victory Lane, Full Velocity Network, picking up a win on the Full Velocity Network. So you can go back at any given time, watch this win in any given time, show it to your friends, your family, all that kind of stuff, and it's something you got to be proud of here tonight.
Oh yeah, I mean, all that work for $1.
Well, I tell you, $1 is $1 in this world anymore. Shoot, I'll take 10 cents. 10 cents, but $1 is $1 here in this world. You can go buy a coffee or something maybe.
Not true. To anyone who doesn't know, I think that's Doug Locker's challenge is whoever won the race, the amount of laps they led was what they got paid at the end.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We know 1 lap, $1. Matt Watkins led 18 laps, and he finished up there that fourth. They became champions here tonight. But you bringing home the win here on the Full Velocity Network. I'm going to give you the microphone. The floor is all yours. Thank whoever you'd like to thank here this evening.
Well, I'd like to thank all the fast guys for working with me, especially Davey for that last push at the end there. And that's about it.
I'm going to throw it down to David Shedlow. Again, congratulations to Michael Mariota in the number 63 machine, bringing up the win. Sorry to slaughter your name just a little bit. I've been wanting to say that all evening long, but I'm going to throw it down to David Shedlow to come up with the champion here tonight. Driver the number 15, Matt Watkins.
A shower of champagne has erupted here around the 15 truck. Matt Watkins, you are the champion of Segment 3 Extreme Super Speedway Series. You locked it up here despite being involved in a ginormous wreck at the end. You held on, almost had a win in the bag. You finished fourth, but more importantly, you take home the championship. Congratulations. Tell us about your run here tonight.
Oh, solid for the most part. Was really conservative on pit stops, not to make a mistake there without pitting or anything like that. And then somehow, some way in that one big wreck, I 360'd off the wall and kept going straight and got the lead. And kept track position and was looking pretty good there. And just I guess I was zigging when I should have zagged. I had a car behind me, and then they wrecked, and that 63 just timed that absolutely perfect, and just couldn't block fast enough.
Well, at that point, you knew that you were in a good spot to win a championship. Maybe not necessarily the race, but the bigger picture, the championship. You knew that Doug couldn't really do anything to get you on points if he was right there and you were right there. But let me ask you this. In all of your years of sim racing, have you ever gone into the air after wrecking, landed on another truck, and have the vehicle end up straight and come out with the lead?
No, no, and not have any damage on top of that. I really dreaded hitting my F9 after that, just seeing if I had damage or not. And no, I kind of whacked the wall, bounced off somebody, kept going, and no damage. So yeah, that was pretty amazing.
Buddy, you're telling me you didn't have any damage. You tackled the wall head on at 170 miles an hour. How tough is your Tundra? I mean, come on, that is incredible that you didn't get any damage out of that.
Yeah, I might be racing that everywhere I go because that was remarkable. I dreaded hitting my F9. Like, I knew it was going to be damaged, and I hit the F. I just cannot believe it was perfect. There was not a scratch on it.
Oh, that is fantastic. Now, the last question I have for you is, does winning this championship here tonight in any way, shape, or form reduce the pain of not winning the championship last night in the 7-Eleven Truck Series, or is a championship and you're just elated right now and not even thinking about that?
It's always nice to win a championship. That was a tough one leading the last lap, but that race was just a 50-50 call of taking 4 and guys taking 2 and not having a chance, and then taking 2 and hoping you had a buffer between us. So yeah, that series was tough, but a very deserving driver won that one, and it came down to us 4, so that was awesome. So that helped the sting, and obviously tonight helps the sting as well. So yes, it does help the sting a little bit.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, a very deserving driver won this one tonight. My hat's off to you. You drove one whale of a race, did everything right, and overcame a little bit of adversity to secure this championship. So from one champion to another, congratulations. The microphone is all yours to say hello and thank you to those who got you here tonight.
Oh, thanks. It means a lot. Thanks, Frank, for putting this on. Doug for sponsoring the whole thing there. That's pretty cool. Those guys, keep stepping up and they're trying to put something on for us. Appreciate you guys coming out tonight and putting on a broadcast for us. Hopefully we put on a fairly good show there. The end was certainly exciting, I thought. And yeah, just had a blast doing this.
There you have it, folks. That's Matt Watkins. He is your champion here tonight at Talladega of the Extreme Super Speedway Series segment number 3. What a run, Brandon. To win a championship is a very special thing in any form of sports, esports, just the same. And I know he's got to be absolutely elated right now. So he earned it. He got through the big wrecks. He did everything he needed to do. And he walks out of here the champion.
He's definitely a deserving champion for sure. I mean, he's like you said, he didn't necessarily stay out of trouble, but he was able to have a little bit of luck on his side tonight, and he throughout the season he was able to stay out of trouble and work his way to the front of to the top of the charts and points and won the championship tonight. So I'm very happy for Matt Walkins. He did a really good job tonight. He was safe, he was smart, and he was just able to work his way up to the championship. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to Todd.
All right, Todd's wrapping up the controls. Did a great job tonight, and big thanks to him for making us sound and look good here on the Full Velocity Network. Brandon, I had a blast broadcasting with you. A great experience up here with you. I really hope that we get to do this again real soon. And just a wonderful championship night here with our friends at the Extreme Super Speedway Series. So you'll catch us back here, the Full Velocity Network, back in full force tomorrow. We have what seems like a full slate of races throughout the rest of this week and weekend. We switch back over to iRacing, and we have some broadcasting in the NASCAR 2003 community as well. So make sure you go to the Full Velocity Network Facebook page, give us a like, give us a follow. You can see our schedule on there, and you can also go to the official home of the Full Velocity Network at fullvelocitynetwork.com to stay on top of all the broadcasts that we have coming up. So if you're a fan of sim racing, you like what you saw and heard here tonight, stay tuned because we bring it with all the action and energy that you saw here tonight, and maybe even some more when that action goes up. We appreciate your viewership. It really means a lot. And until next time, I'm David Schildhouse for Brandon Lawson and Too Tall Todd Stanton. Good night, everybody.